Hi everybody, I'm Schaefer. I'm with the CTO group. I'm here today to talk about the art and the science of the autonomous production studio. So when we talk about all this, you've heard us, you've heard Alan Nimry, you've heard me for a while talk about we want to put a production studio into our equipment. And that sounds nice, but what does that mean? And so I really want to take the time today to be able to train you guys on what that means, because I know you are going to be the folks that are going to be going out and talking to the customers about this exciting stuff. So let's get right into it, shall we? We're working on creating television production algorithms. We want to behave like the system has a TV production studio inside of it. The users will not see any of this. What they will experience is like what they're used to seeing at home. I tell people, everybody watches TV, everybody's seeing movies, everybody has a phone in their pocket with a camera. Everyone fancies themselves a Steven Spielberg. But not everybody can make good video. It's like eating a cake. I know what a good cake tastes like, but that doesn't mean I can make one. And so what we want to do is we want to be able to have all the ingredients in here, and we're going to produce the experience that people are used to seeing. And little or no user interface, hopefully what you'll see today has no user interface. So let's talk about the science. David and Casey talked a little bit about the science. The first thing is we want to acquire the data. We want to look at the room. How many folks here have seen what the Polycom studio actually sees? Okay, good. So some of you are going to get to see some cool stuff. This is actually what the camera inside Polycom studio sees. Let me explain to you what you're looking at. The green boxes are where it's actually finding a head. You'll also see it has a dark blue box. That's the part where the system has decided I'm going to go and crop to this part of the scene. And finally, you'll see a light blue line running up and down. That is where it heard the audio. That's where it heard a person talking. So we call that the sound source localization. You might hear the engineers talk about SSL, right? That's one of the big things that differentiates us from other folks. Everybody can do, a lot of folks can do the finding of heads, but it's Peter Chu and his group that help us be able to listen across the room to hear who's talking. So our system really is doing a lot of listening and a lot of looking. So let me play this clip so you can actually see some of the action. It takes a look about once every, what was it, David, 7/10 of a second?
Yes.
Less than every second, it's actually looking at the room. And you can see that blue line is bouncing around depending on where it hears somebody talking, and then that blue bounding box moves around. And then it's what we choose to do with this, which is going to be interesting. So we created what we call a television production algorithm. And this is actually the same thing that the people in the back of the room are doing as they produce this experience. We're just trying to tell the computer how to do it. So the first thing we want to do is, after you've figured out who's talking, we want you to compose a good shot of that person. The next thing we want to do is we want to transition. When one person talks and it goes to another, how do you transition to that next person? Is it a cut? Is it a pan? Is it a dissolve? And then, what's the timing of that transition? If you're doing a pan, how long is it taking the camera to move from one spot to the other? And then finally, we want to do some heuristics. We want the system to learn over time where the people are in the room so that it can become more accurate as it goes on. So, the art. This is where we're actually framing the people and deciding what it looks like. As Casey and David said, we showed this to Joe and to Tom yesterday, and Joe had a great line, and I wanted to share it with you. All that video you saw with the green boxes, this is the science, and as cool as it looks, that's easy. As you heard David say, lots and lots of people are going to be showing customers those types of things. Putting that little brain that has a sense of taste and style that can go into a product and decide exactly what to do, that's the art you get from Poly. So let's take a look at how we make the art. Everything I'm going to teach you about the art, you can actually use when you go out of here and make your home videos look better. Your vacation videos will look much more tolerable. So we start with the rule of thirds. The rule of thirds is how you frame something. So here we have Lillian from our Experience Center, and the way a camera operator would frame a person is you actually frame the person with a rule of thirds. And as you can see, we're doing the same thing here. The camera operator, Nicole, in the back of the room, is framing me by putting my head and my eyes in that top third of the screen. If she was to zoom out even further, we still maintain that same aspect ratio of keeping the eyes at the top third of the screen. Normally in conference rooms, we end up showing a lot of the ceiling tiles, but in television, we never show that. So if we switch back to the presentation, if we switch back to the PowerPoint, we always want to put those eyes and head right in there at the top third of the screen. It is not like hunting. When you go hunting, you want to put the person's head in the middle of the scope. Casey was shocked I was showing this, and then decided, well, but we're in Texas, right? This is what most traditional conference room cameras look like. And this is a really useful shot if you were a company selling ceiling tiles and lighting fixtures. How many people here have customers with ceiling tiles and lighting fixtures? Nobody. No, not one. I got one. Okay. This is a much more aesthetically pleasing shot. We're actually filling the frame with the people and not half of it with ceiling and light fixtures. If you noticed, maybe you noticed, maybe you haven't, all of your cell phones have a grid in them. They all have a grid that you can put an overlay on, and that's why it's there. Those horizontal lines are there so that you can place the eyes in the proper place. The vertical lines, I'll talk to you about those next year. So, the rules I've shared with you are not just Polycom rules, they're not North American rules, they're not Western. These are rules that are international. And so here's some television shows that we pulled off the internet of some Chinese shows. And as you can see, even when they do reaction shots in the audience, everything, the heads are always put in that top third. Here's a dating game show from China. And again, you can see the host, his eyes are framed properly, the contestants are framed properly, and the audience reaction shots. Again, the head is always in that position. So, next, I want to talk about the transition. So now that we frame the person properly, how do we go to the next shot? A lot of times what we do is we cut from one scene to the other. And that's fine if the person is far away. But if the person is standing next to me, cutting to that person can be jarring because it's a jump cut. You know, you've seen me in one part of the screen and now all of a sudden I've moved to another. So different ways that we can transition are we can move the camera, or we could switch from one source to the other. I want to talk about pan, tilt, zoom, and easing. So when we talk about panning, we're talking about the camera moving left to right. When we talk about tilt, we're talking about the camera moving up and down. And when we talk about zoom, we're talking about the camera actually zooming in, magnifying what it sees. Now, in a production, normally a camera operator will pan, tilt, and zoom all at the same time, going from one person to the other. In some of the other products out there, they do a pan, tilt, then a zoom. And they do it very robotic. They do it very linear. So the next part is easing. Easing is when you accelerate and decelerate. Nothing in nature moves linearly from one point to the other. In reality, things tend to accelerate and decelerate. Our brains are wired to expect this kind of motion. So think of a car. When a car accelerates, it goes, it starts slow and it accelerates, and then as it brakes, it slows down. In the real world, if you have a camera tripod, a professional camera tripod actually has in the head a fluid drag system. So you can actually tighten down the amount of drag that's in the system so that when Nicole pans the camera from one side to the other, it's not a linear, it has some startup and then eases into position. And so, all of these things are what we would like to put into our products going forward. All of the cameras that we have that we're making now and that we're making going forward. How many of you would like to see a video, pre-recorded video demo of this?
Yeah!
I'm sorry, we're going to do a live demo instead. But so, Rommel and Neil, if you want to come on up here. I think everyone knows Neil. Rommel is working with us. So I'm the art, Rommel is the science. Rommel has been with Polycom and PictureTel for 20 years last month. So, yeah. He's worked on such products as the ITP solutions, he's worked on the G7500, and he's working with us on some of these video production rules and algorithms that we're putting into the systems now. So, what we have here is you're actually looking at the Polycom studio, and this is the wide shot that's coming out of the system. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the no tracking and turn on tracking. And it will switch, and it should cut to me and get a nice frame shot of me. Notice the rule of thirds where my eyes are placed in the correct position. Now, if Rommel was to start talking.
So if I were to start talking, then we should see a natural kind of interaction.
Now, I have to be honest with you, this was something that we put together, and when Rommel put it in, I was like, call Sam, call Neil, let them know we had a demo for Seal. And what they do, they went and they showed it to the salespeople first.
It's too good. It's too good.
I wanted to give you something extra. Okay, so the bar on our competition is so low. We continuously talk about, this is a Logitech killer or it's like a Vita. It's not. This is the best damn USB camera in the world. We're going to have a little chat. I'm going to move just slightly over here.
So who wants to see something that the salespeople didn't see? Who wants to see something that hasn't been shown outside the Austin office yet?
Yeah, so I think if we're talking about how this is done, it's really applying kind of the most basic language you can find to have something natural, math. So we took two things that were working well in the camera, which was the computer vision, like you saw, and the GPU. When you think of the GPU, it's just taking a box inside of a 4K image and scaling it to 1080. So we applied math in the middle that made the transition function really natural.
This is inside the product, isn't it?
Yes.
And the technology is inside the product, and it's there, and it's working, and it's actually seeing that we're further apart. It's actually didn't ease to me, it switched to me.
Yeah, switch to you because you were too far away, and if we're in discussion, it should be something pretty close.
Everyone's seen this? So this is new. No one has seen this. The sales guys haven't seen this. I joked about the fact that some of my colleagues in my region, I'm looking at Nathan, you guys had some very heated meetings. So what happens when two people are talking and the conversation is going back and forth? You see both the people on the screen. And the system is intelligent enough. It's got that machine learning inside the studio. All of our competitors are doing this on software on a laptop, and it's so slow and so clunky. This is the best damn USB camera on the planet at the moment, and we should be having these flying out the doors. Stephen, you wanted to cover this through, just wrap up three things?
So the three things I want you to remember going from here about the art that we're doing. We're doing the rule of thirds to frame people properly. We're doing the easing from one person to the other. And then we're doing a discussion mode where if two people are talking, we frame both of them. Or if they're too far apart to get in the frame, that one camera is doing the split screen to show both people. So thank you very much for your time.